Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to just start in about probably 45 seconds, just kind of let people kind of get logged into our presentation. So, uh, welcome this morning. Okay, good morning. Let's started. Today we're going to talk to Kristen Ingebretson. She's the Office of Small Business Programs Component Director for the Defense Microelectronics Activity, DMEA. So with that, I'll just let her tell us all about the Defense Microelectronics Activity.
Thank you, Victor. Yeah, that's a mouthful. So DMEA works for us. And so is my title, right? OSBP Component Director. Don't have to sound it all out. You'll find if you're not familiar with doing business with the federal government, that we have a lot of acronyms, and I'll go over those throughout my presentation this morning. Hey, I first off want to thank Victor and his staff for giving me this opportunity to give you an overview of DMEA and our small business program, which includes the SITR program. And I'm going to spell those out for you later on. I promise those are acronyms as well. Excuse me. And thank you to all of you for taking your time out this morning to attend. I just want to tell you a little bit about me. So I work for an agency now, DMEA, very technical microelectronics in the semiconductor space. That's not me. I do not have that technical expertise or background. I'm not an engineer. I am a small business advocate, however, and I've been doing that for about 17 years. I started with the Small Business Administration as what they call a business opportunity specialist. So not only did I manage a portfolio of 8A firms, those are small disadvantaged businesses. It's a specialized program for the SBA that the Apex can help you first of all, see if you're eligible. Second of all, help you get registered or certified with that. So like I said, I did that for 13 years. I also counseled small businesses and helped them get into federal government contracting. After that, right during the pandemic, I went on for about 18 months to the Bureau of Reclamation up here in Sacramento. It's their California Great Basin region. And I was their small business specialist as well as a procurement analyst before I started with DMEA almost 2 years ago. And I've been their small business, I am their small business office. It's just me. And then I have an acting SITR program manager. So I am the component director for DMEA. Next slide, please. And I'm going to go off camera. Oh. All right. So quick overview. This is really all I'm going to say about DMEA. But I want to encourage you, and you'll see the link to our website on the next slide. Just keep it here for now, though. I want to encourage you to go to our website, new and improved as of Monday, and just learn more about DMEA. If you're interested in doing business with us or any agency, the first thing you're going to want to do is your homework. So please visit our website, learn more about what we do. Just real quickly here, though, quick overview. We are a federal research and development, or R&D laboratory facility that was created in March of '97 by the Deputy Secretary of Defense as the DoD, or the Department of Defense's Center for Microelectronics Technology, Acquisition, Transformation, and Support. So we have a real unique mission. We are very important, actually, in the mission that we provide to the warfighter. Our mission is to deliver microelectronic solutions to meet the needs of the DoD. And on staff, we have about 200 individuals that work for DMEA. And I would say about 80% of those are engineers, a lot of them double E's, some PhDs. And what they do is they provide critical products, services, and expertise to support defense operations and deliver weapon systems readiness, ensures sustainment of legacy capabilities to offer a cost-effective alternative throughout the service life of a wide range of weapon systems. So that's kind of the canned speech there. But basically what they do is, and I got to refer to my notes, sorry about that. Basically what they do, our engineers do is they look for windows of opportunity that open and close rapidly, and they can create and build microelectronics to meet those timeframes, supporting the mission of the warfighter. They take research from our lab and insert it into the field, into the hands of the warfighter. Next slide, please. All right, so every agency and corporate companies, even you small businesses, might have a mission and vision statement for DMEA. I already covered the mission statement on the previous slide. We deliver microelectronic solutions to meet the needs of the DoD. The Small Business Office also has a mission statement that aligns with DMEA's mission as a whole. And that's in direct support of DoD's needs by advocating for small businesses that contribute to national security and economic power to our nation in the area of microelectronics. DMEA's vision is to be the trusted technical source for microelectronic solutions within the Department of Defense. And again, that Small Business Office's vision aligns by maximizing small business opportunities through innovation and advanced technology microelectronics solutions. And there's that website I talked about. I really encourage you to go there, learn more about DMEA and everything that we offer. And also there's a small business page. It's under, I think, about and doing business with DMEA. You'll get information about my office and my email address link so that you can email me directly. Next slide. All right, so what does DMEA buy? There's a list of products and services, not all inclusive, of course, but that's some of the things that we buy on a regular basis. R&D and technology. The R&D mostly comes under our SIBR-SITR program, which I will cover later. We buy a lot of engineering. In fact, that's where we spend most of our dollars, and other technical consulting services. However, little caveat there, there aren't a lot of opportunities in that engineering for small businesses. Because that goes to, we have a very large, a multi-billion-dollar contract. It's a 10-year contract, but we have that with a lot of the large primes. But there are subcontracting opportunities under that contract, and I'll talk about that a little bit too in a later slide. So as I mentioned, we're in the semiconductor microelectronics industry, so we do purchase a lot of devices related to that through manufacturers, and software maintenance and licenses to support our lab, to support even our infrastructure. So we procure a lot of that. And most of that is procured off of NASA SOUP, if you're not familiar with that. It is a management category schedule, if you will, that is managed by NASA, of course, therefore the name. And SOUP is SEWP. It's not soup like what we eat on a cold day. It's an acronym. I just can't recall what it stands for off the top of my head. But we must actually, by mandate, go to that vehicle first. And then if we can't find what we need there, we're going to go out to open market. And just a note on NASA SOUP, it is up for recompete next year. Not next year. We're next fiscal year. So we're in fiscal year 2024 because it starts October 1st. So we're in fiscal year 2024 now, but that starts in fiscal year 2025. But you can go and Google NASA SOUP, SEWP, and find the draft RFP, and see if you're eligible and qualify, and maybe go after that and be one of the businesses that small businesses that is on that vehicle. Going down the list, of course, we buy everything that supports, like I said, the infrastructure and our folks, so laptops, desktops, monitors, peripherals. For our labs, we buy equipment there, scanners, test equipment, and x-rays. And then, of course, we're in a building. We're actually on McClellan, the old McClellan Air Force Base. It's called, I think, McClellan Park now. And we need support for that facility. We just awarded a 5-year IDIQ indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract at the end of 2023's fiscal year. So that ended, remember what I mentioned the date, September 30th, 2023. So that was just awarded. However, there may be subcontracting opportunities there and on some of our other contracts, 5-year contracts that we have awarded. And these are all the small businesses. So you can, be a sub to a large, you can be a sub to a small. Again, if you want more information about any of those, my email address will be on the last slide and you can reach out to me, or you can go to our website, as I mentioned, and find it on the Doing Business with DMEA page. Next slide. All right, so there's DMEA's top 10 NAICS codes, and they're ranked by contract value, so total contract value. So the top one, and I mentioned this before, engineering services 51330. Not a ton of opportunity for small business in that industry for us. It all goes to those large primes, but again, there are subcontracting opportunities there. And then I'll just let you read on down the list. And again, that's total contract value. And that's a 5-year, is that a 5-year average? Yeah, that I got out of SAM.gov data reports. Of course, we buy under loads of other NAICS codes. And NAICS, if you're not familiar with NAICS, that's North American Industry Classification System Code. And it's basically an industry code, and federal agencies must list a code on their solicitations that relates to the majority of what it is they're procuring. So next slide. All right. So small business contracting goals. And I have this slide in there because, well, hopefully well, not hopefully, but some of you are small businesses. Maybe you want to be a small business that does business with the feds. So why should you do business with the feds? Well, the federal government procures, I think it's a $500 billion. It's probably more now with inflation and whatnot, but $500 billion in products and services from businesses. Therefore, there are opportunities for small businesses as well under mandate, under federal regulation. And what regulation says, and that's what that FAR is, Federal Acquisition Regulation. What it says is it's the policy of the government to provide maximum practicable opportunities in its acquisitions to small businesses. And then it lists all the socioeconomic categories, which actually veteran-owned isn't one, but it's a subset, if you will, or can be a subset of service-disabled veteran-owned small business. Hub zone small business, small disadvantaged business, which includes that 8A program I talked about, and women-owned small businesses. So what the federal government does, or the SBA actually holds them accountable for, is these statutory goals for each of these categories. And you can see those listed there. 23% for small business, 5% for women-owned. Small disadvantaged business, it was 5% up until, I want to say it was 2021. And there was an executive order by the president at that time to start increasing that goal. So providing more dollars to small disadvantaged businesses, which again includes the 8A program. That goal is going to increase to 15% by 2025. What I want to mention here is all of these programs you see, with the exception of SDB, are formal certifications under the SBA, and that includes the 8A program. But if you qualify as an SDB, and you can ask the Apex for information on eligibility for SDB. If you qualify, you're socially disadvantaged, you're economically disadvantaged, and there are some numbers and things that go with that. If you qualify, you can self-certify. The only one, you self-certify in sam.gov to be an SDB. And although there's no set-asides for SDB, there are for 8A and the other categories. That federal agencies really like to award to SDBs because we have an SDB goal that we need to meet, and that's that 13% increasing to 15. What I want to mention or highlight at the bottom of this, the last bullet, is even though you see those statutory goals there, agency goals are not always the same. So you're going to see on the next slide that DMEAs are very low compared to the statutory goals for small business. And I don't have the others listed, but ours are much lower. We negotiate those actually with DoD OSVP, who in turn negotiates with the SBA. But that's due to what we do, the nature of our mission and our agency's procurement needs. Next slide, please. All right, so here is a slide with tables showing DoD overall, top one for the last 3 years, what was available for small business contracting dollars, or what was spent, not even available, I'm sorry, what DoD and what DMEA spent or procured under or provided to small businesses, excuse me, and then how many contracting actions that money equated to. So that's the top table. The bottom table shows DMEA small business goal. So as you can see, very small compared to the statutory goals. So remember, overall small business statutory goal is 23%. There's DMEAs, and again, based upon what we do, what's available to small businesses. I mean, we don't have a lot of contracts that lend themselves to small businesses, but we do, because you can see up above that we're spending or providing last year, 30.9 million. We provided that to small businesses. Next slide, please. All right, so DMEA FY24 prime contracting opportunities. It is the same for us as it is for, I would say, most every other federal agency. I think FAA does a little bit differently, but we all post, and that's the second bullet there, we all post anything, any opportunity, any procurement over 25,000 on sam.gov. So that SAM is System for Award Management. It's all posted there. I also have a annual forecast that I don't post it on our website. Many agencies do. However, if you want to email me, I can provide that to you so you can see what opportunities we have on the books for FY24 that lend themselves to small businesses. We have, as I mentioned before, a lot of subcontracting opportunities. We have that big program called the Advanced Technology Support Program. We're in our 5th iteration, even though it says 4, because you have your base. And then when you recompete every year, it goes up one. So we're always one behind. So we're in our 5th iteration. That will be up for recompete in 2026. So it'll go out on the streets in the year before. It's a 10-year IDIQ, that indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity type contract. Full and open means that it was not set aside for small business, because you can see the high dollar amount on that, 17.5 billion. And again, that's spread out over the 10 years. It's a joint service use for all programs. So mostly all the services, the military services is who we provide that support to. And there you can see a list of the prime contractors who there are potential for being a sub to. And I want to mention what this contract is about. Mention a little bit about what this contract is about, but I got to go to my notes for that. So ATSP4, and I do this so if any of this that I'm talking about is something that is in your wheelhouse, you can reach out to these prime contractors, and I have a link on the next page to sign up to be one of their suppliers. Or you can email me your capability statement and I can forward it to the program managers. So real quick, what the ATSP4 contract is all about. It provides DMEA with accelerated acquisition, system engineering expertise, and guidance in microelectronics-based engineering services to government agencies. It facilitates access to address critical warfighter requirements and the challenges of current and emerging DoD microelectronics and related issues. If you didn't get enough information from what I just said, please go to our website. Up in the programs tab, there is a page for ATSP, Advanced Technology Support Program. So you can learn all about the program and a little bit more, probably a lot more about what that entails. So last bullet here, and I did mention this before, we do have other subcontracting opportunities with current DMEA contract holders, a lot of which are small businesses, I'm proud to say. So just reach out to me if you want more information on those, and I can provide who the prime is. Next slide. All right, so there's those links for all the large primes and the ATSP4 contract. And you'll get a copy of these slides, correct? Although I do have to say, those are not hyperlinked, so you'll just have to cut and paste and put them in your browser, okay? Yeah, and just a word about that. If you want to be a sub to any prime and being a subcontractor, I think is a really great way. I don't even think it is a really great way to get your foot in the door, to gain federal experience. And we're talking federal contracts here. To gain federal experience, that experience can be used as past performance when you're responding to solicitations as a prime. And you know, it may be your bread and butter. It may be what you're good at, and you don't have to be the prime. And the prime takes all the risk, right? So that may be perfectly fine where you're at, and you don't have to be a prime on contracts, and you can just be a sub and make loads of money there too. So subcontracting equally as important as being a prime with a lot less risk. Next slide. All right, so I'm going to switch gears here. We're going into our SBIR sitter program, and I promise you I'm going to spell out those acronyms. SBIR, Small Business Innovation Research, and SBIR, Small Business Technology Transfer Program. So DMEA is one of 14 DoD components that administer this program or participate in this program, I should say. And there are 11 agencies, which include the DoD, that participate in this program. So not all are DoD agencies, but under DoD, there are, did I say 14? Oh, it's 12. I'm sorry. 12 DoD components. It used to be 14. So DMEA, of course, is one of those components that participates. And it's actually all based on our budget and how much money we get every year. So there's certain numbers there. And I don't have them in my slides. I don't remember them off the top of my head. But anyway, we do participate because of the budget we have. And what are these programs? Highly competitive. They are awards-based. Other federal agencies, non-DoD agencies, and even some DoD agencies provide grants for these awards. But we are contract awards based, or grants, not awards, but contract or awards. I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. Grants for other agencies. Most of DoD does contract awards. They encourage, what these programs do is encourage domestic small business concerns, or SBCs, to engage in federal R&D with the potential for commercialization. So getting it out there, so that you as a small business make money on it. So we're going to give you money to develop these ideas, and with the hopes of ultimately getting it out and into production, if you will. It enables small businesses to explore their technological potential and provides the incentive to profit from commercialization. SITR program, little bit different. Everything I talked about the same for SITR. However, under the SITR program, it requires that a small business works with a research institute or an R&I in phases 1 and 2, and I'll talk about those phases in a bit, to bridge the gap between performance of basic science and commercialization of resulting innovations. So the Small Business Administration, the SBA, they're the ones that manage this program. They direct all the agencies' implementation of the program. They review our progress. We have to provide them with reports, which they ultimately, report up to Congress on an annual basis. Next slide. All right, so here is DMEA's SBIR program details. Every agency, again, is going to have different details, different numbers. Some agencies have huge budgets, DMEA, small. So ours is $6 million roughly every year, and that includes both SBIR combined together. They're divvied out separately for SBIR contracts, SITR contracts, but we combine them for the $6 million. DMEA averages 6 to 12 SBIR phase 1 and 2s, and I know that's a broad range, and it's because last year we had several SBIR phase 1s and a few phase 2s, so I just broadened that range there. And we have less sitters, and we have a much less much less amount in our sitter budget, so we have less topics there, of course, naturally, and we do about 1 to 2 of those a year. Both phase 1 and phase 2. So DMEA typically participates in 2 what are called broad agency announcements. We do 2 of those a year, and those are basically, or they are, the solicitation. So you can find those posted on sam.gov. However, the best place to go for DoD solicitations or BAAs is that website you see at the bottom there. That's where DoD agencies components post all of their topics. So we post our conventional topics, the first BAA cycle of the year, which opens up in January. And what we're looking for, our technical people, service partners, they'll develop topics in response to our agency needs that are challenging and advance the goals of the DoD. The topics must address a defined technology requirement, and our topics are prioritized with preference to topics that lead to manufacturing opportunities at DMEA and commercialization, and that grow the defense industrial base, or the DIB. So our technical people, we call them TPOCs, technical point of contact. They're topic authors. They write topics that address needs that DMEA has, challenges that we have, and so you're going to find that's what we address. Other agencies address different things. And if you want more information, again, go to that website and you can see all of our past topics, current topics. We have some out there. And they are in pre-release right now, but open up for solicitation in January, as that mentions there. I think it's January 5th. The solicitation cycle open and close is about a month, so it closes in February. We also participate in the last BAA of the year, and that's for our open topic. Open topic, just a little bit more generalized than the conventional topic, and we do that in the last of the fiscal year, so the September timeframe. Let's see. And again, there's the website. If you want to go see current past topics for us and any other DoD agency, please visit that website and more information regarding the program. Next slide. All right, so here's those phases. Phase 1, the goal of that is basically a feasibility study, so a paper. But we want the small business to determine scientific, technical, and commercial merit for the topic that our topic authors or TPOCs have put out there. There's the contract award amount for conventional. Open topic is half the award amount and half the period of performance or POP. So it's 24 months. Oh, I'm sorry. For phase 1, we're on phase 1. It's 6 months for phase 1, and then for the open topic, it's only 3 months, and that's for both SBIR and SITR topics. There, if you're responding, there's what you're going to see. for the proposal. Those are the volumes that go into the proposal. And again, I mentioned the final product there is a feasibility study. Then for phase 2, a little bit different. That goal of that is to further develop the R&D efforts that were explained in phase 1 in the study. And the final product for that is a prototype. So we're going to deliver a prototype to DMEA. Only phase 1 awardees are invited to submit a proposal for phase 2 for that particular topic. And as you can see, the award amount goes up significantly, as does the period of performance, goes up to 2 years. That's for both SBIR and SITR, and for both conventional and open topics. So same proposal volumes there. And I said the final product is a prototype. Next slide. Okay, so there's a couple other phase 2 programs that DMEA participates in. Top one, phase 2 enhancement. And the goal of that is to encourage the transition of SBIR technology into DoD systems. There's a 1-year extension on one of the existing phase 2s that I talked about. So DMEA will contribute up to that amount you see there of SBIR funds. And the unique quality of this one is that the small business must secure matching funds. So if we go up to that amount there, the small business has to provide matching funds from a non-SBIR source. So either maybe a private investor, another federal agency, even DMEA. We could provide that if it warrants further extension of the phase 2. So the other phase 2 program is called Direct to Phase 2. It's a pilot program. It's been a pilot program for a very long time, still a pilot program. And this only applies to SBIR topics. And the goal here is to attract firms with innovative solutions to participate in the program. When feasibility, so remember that study we talked about in phase 1, when that's been demonstrated outside of the SBIR program. So a firm can select a topic from another component that allows for a direct to phase 2 proposal submission, but they have to prove that phase 1 milestones must be, or phase 1 milestones were completed using non-SBIR funds, and contract award amount and the POP is the same as an original phase 2. Next slide. All right, so phase 3, this is the goal of the program, is to get to phase 3, to commercialization, to get that out to production, that prototype out to production. So again, the goal is for the small business to pursue commercialization objectives resulting from the first couple of phases. It is not funded by SBIR funds. It can be funded by the private sector, or government sources, and it is a sole source contract, meaning it is not competed. It goes right to the small business that proved everything out in phase 1 and phase 2. And it may involve, and we'd like for it to involve, I mean, again, this is the goal, follow-on R&D or production contracts for products or processes and services intended for use by the federal government. Next slide, please. All right, and this is just a little flow depiction, so you can see phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. A little bit more details about DMEA, some of the awards we've done in the past. We have done 3 direct to phase 2 awards, and then we did 1 phase 2 enhancement. Next slide. All right, so here's a list of past topics to give you a flavor for what DMEA is looking for, the kind of topics that our topic authors write. I do want to tell you that these weren't updated for 2023, and those are going to give you a better idea because DMEA is transitioning all the time. We've actually pivoted from more traditional semiconductor manufacturing to silicon carbide, that SiC up there that you see, technologies. So what I suggest is you go to that website again and look at our 2023 topics. The reason I don't have those on here, and I will get them on here sooner or later, is because I have to go through a public release process. I have to get approval before I present any of these slides. So I will be updating those and getting that release approval for future presentations. Next slide. All right, switching gears back to doing business with DMEA. And really for any federal agency, this is kind of doing business with the federal government 101. But same, it applies to DMEA. So first of all, and I mentioned this in the beginning, do your homework, visit our website. I couldn't even say this before because our website, there was pretty much nothing there but a mission brief, but now it's fabulous. So you can go and find out everything we do, all the programs we have, to get you a flavor of the kind of things we need from small businesses. And don't forget, we do have a facility that we operate out of. So there are other opportunities there for small businesses. It's not all in the semiconductor arena. All right, so just some ideas on searching for past awards that DMEA has provided or awarded, and other agencies. You can go to any one of these websites listed here, their databases, and get historical information about what agencies, what DMEA has procured in the past, to give you an idea about what we might procure in the future. So that's doing your homework. That way too, you can rule agencies out or count them in and get your target market, right? Get your hit list. So just some tips there. If you're looking for DMEA in SAM.gov in their contract data report section, our organization code is 9771. So you can search for us there. Search for current opportunities. And again, I mentioned SAM. That's where we're going to find all the current opportunities that are over 25,000. And again, I have an annual procurement forecast for FY24, fiscal year 24. So give me a shout, send me an email, and I can provide that to you to show you what we have coming up this year. And so last bullet there, or second to last, is, you got to ask yourself, you're doing your research, agency research, evaluating your business. Hey, do I have contracting experience, government contracting experience? Do I have adequate cash flow, inventory, working capital? These are all things you should ask yourself as a small business, because they're really all necessary to do business with the federal government. Because if you were to win a contract, be a prime contractor, win as a prime, you may not get paid for a while. So, you got to have some money there in the bank in order to float that contract until you get paid. And if you're in the construction industry, you need to have bonding. It is required for government contracts. So just keep all those things in mind. If you can answer yes to those, then next slide. Oh, there we go. You're off to getting registered in the federal government databases to do business with federal agencies. The first bullet, this is kind of another homework thing. Well, not even homework thing. So once you've determined that you're ready to go, and I'll refer back to the Apex. They can be your sounding board. If you're interested, you're not currently doing business with the federal government, get some help from them, some counseling from them. They can do an assessment to see if you're ready. And if you're not, get you ready, get you some ideas, or give you some ideas to get you ready. So if you're ready, there's the system second bullet down. Again, that's that darn SAM.gov, right? You're going to register your business, which they call an entity, in SAM.gov. But I suggest before you do that, you go to census.gov and find your NAICS codes. Remember, I mentioned those before. Those are your industry codes, because you're going to have to plug those in when you're in SAM.gov. You're going to pick a primary NAICS code that's typically looked at as the industry where you earn the most revenue, have the most experience. And when you're in census.gov, make sure to use the 2022 search engine, the current one. Type in an industry keyword, key phrase that relates to what it is that you do, and you should be able to find a proper NAICS code. And again, Apex can help you on that one. But have those at the ready. Go into sam.gov, enter all of your information. It's going to include banking information, right? So have that at the ready. And that's because that's the way you're going to get paid from the federal government. They're going to send it right into your business bank account. When you're in there, this is important. A lot of small businesses miss it. The system will identify you. SAM will identify you as a small business based on your NAICS codes and the revenues or a number of employees you put in there. And it will determine if you're a small business and generate a page called the SBA supplemental page. Look for that when you're in SAM. You can't get it anywhere else, access it anywhere else, just in SAM. When you get there, make sure to click on the link that says SBA. Go in and fill out your SBA profile, which is within the dynamic small business search. That's an SBA database, if you will. So make sure you're doing that. The first time you're in SAM. Once you submit your SAM registration, it does take some time. So be patient. Anywhere, I don't even know what the latest number is. It was taking months before, but maybe let's say anywhere from 2 weeks to a few months. And again, it's based on the checks and balances that the system is doing and how accurate your data is. So, they may come back to you and ask for more information. So once you're in the systems and you're fully registered, go to the SBA's website and see what certifications, and with the help of the Apex, what certifications you qualify for. So remember, I mentioned all those socioeconomic categories. So you have 8A, small business, you're just a small business. You don't have to certify for that other than identify, register in SAM, and it will identify you as a small business. But all these other ones, the 8A program, number 8, letter A, that's the small disadvantaged program, woman-owned small business program, the Hub Zone program, the service disabled veteran-owned small business program. Those are all formal certifications, and they have eligibility requirements. So visit the website there. You can check out eligibility requirements there. And if you feel like you're eligible, again, go back to the Apex for some help. I list this, I know it's obvious, but please accept government purchase cards or credit cards. We call them government purchase cards or GPCs. And that is because the federal government purchased billions with the B dollars worth of products, services on government credit cards. So those are smaller purchases, but we're using them and it's in the billions. Anyway, so that's an important thing to do. Just make sure you're set up for that. Market your business by developing quality marketing materials. Again, pretty obvious, but you'd be surprised. Make sure that SBA profile in the dynamic small business search is completed. Number one, a lot of small businesses miss it. And 2, updated, or B, updated on a regular basis. Here's another one that's kind of unique to federal agencies. Have a capability statement at the ready, a nice, again, quality capability statement. And if you don't know what that is, you can Google it. Google, one for your industry, capability statement in X, or get some help from the Apex. They're really great at helping small businesses develop an optimized or quality capability statement. Make sure, because I'm seeing a lot of capability statements lately, that companies aren't including their unique entity identifier, and that's given to you from SAM, or your cage code. Again, when you register in SAM, you will receive one of those. I think it comes from DLA. I forget who it comes from. Anyway, you'll receive one of those. So have either one of those on your capability statement. Those are your unique identifiers. And when you're sending your capability statement to me, for example, and there's my small business office email address. I'll give you my direct one at the end. But if you're sending me your capability statement, you're marketing to me, I can look you up and find out more information about you. So UEI, cage code, NAICS codes to me are very important because that's how I save you in my vendor database, is by NAICS code. So get those on there, and it tells me more about what you do. I'm going to pass those along within DMEA internally to the engineers, to all the program offices, and to our contracting shop. And it tells them more about what you do as well, because they're all used to seeing those NAICS codes. Have your business cards. I know we're in a virtual world, but there are in-person events going on out there. So have some business cards, have that capability statement with you and ready to hand out when you're at those events, those in-person events. And of course, have a quality website, no broken links, make sure it looks professional, because that will be one of the places that contracting officers and specialists, and even me, I'll go and I'll check out your website as well. And as well as our engineers. They're going to go to your website, see what you're about. So make sure that that's professional. Next slide. Okay, more on marketing your business. Build relationships with the acquisition staff and with folks like me, the small business professionals. And there's if you go to that website there, that's the DoD small business page, if you will, has a comprehensive list of small business professionals. It's not going to have the acquisition staff so much, but small business professionals for DoD, they're going to be the person that you're going to market to first, right? They're the gateway, if you will, into the agency. And every agency operates a little bit differently. For us, I'm not going to put you in direct contact or provide you with the name, email of our decision makers and stakeholders and contracting folks, but I am going to pass your information along. That's just the way we operate. But other agencies, you may get the phone number, email address from somebody on the acquisition staff or even a program manager. I mentioned events. So important to, if there's in-person, even virtual events. We've got a lot of virtual events now because of the pandemic. Go to agency's websites again. That's the one for DoD. And you'll see DoD events listed there. Those are national events. You're not going to really see any local events there unless it's a really big event. So, you guys may be from all over the place. I don't know who's called in. But here, kind of pseudo-locally, the Navy has a big event every year called Navy Gold Coast. And I think it's in August this year. Just Google it, Navy Gold Coast 2024. That's down in San Diego. And a lot of agencies, DoD agencies, of course, the Navy sponsors it, but a lot of DoD agencies are there. And it's a really great place to build relationships with DoD, not only DoD small business people, but acquisition staff. They're all going to be there. Let's see, where am I? Again, I think I've covered this one ad nauseum, but look for prime contracting opportunities on SAM. There's the website again. There's DMEA's federal organization code. And that second bullet there, really important when you're in SAM and you're looking for opportunities, you're going to see postings that are identified as sources sought and pre-solicitation notices. That is our contracting folks doing market research to see if they can set a procurement aside for small business. They have to get responses from at least 2 qualified small businesses on these type of notices before they can set aside an opportunity, a contract for a small business or any one of the socioeconomic categories. So super important, use small business when you're in sam.gov to respond to those in addition to the solicitations you see so that agencies can set those aside. All right. Lastly, again, I talked about contracting, which I think is equally as important as being a prime. So there's some websites there. Actually, there's only one website there. That's SBA Subnet. So prime contractors post opportunities there at that link. And other ways you can find opportunities is by directly marketing yourself to large primes. Go to their websites, sign up as a supplier or vendor, go to their outreach events. You can find those on their websites as well. And a lot of those primes too are going to be at these different federal government, DoD outreach events. And if you're marketing directly to primes, they have a person that's very much like my position, and they typically call them the Small Business Liaison Officer or Diversity Manager. So you can reach out to them. Next slide. All right, so we're getting to small business resources. There are a lot of no-cost resource partners out there that small business resource partners that can assist you in almost any aspect of your business, starting it up, growing it, business plan. Apex Accelerator, of course, what their specialty is assisting small businesses with not only federal government contracting, but state, local, utilities. So really great resource for you to get some help there. The other ones listed, as I said, can help you in other aspects of your business. Veterans, you have a resource there. The Women's Business Center, it's not for women only. So, you know, any gender can go there, if you will. Any gender-owned business can go there for assistance. And for the DoD, if you need more information, again, I've referenced that link. You can go there to get more information on doing business with the DoD. Next slide. All right, so we're to questions. And Victor, I'll have you flip one more slide. But people, if there's questions in the chat or if people want to unmute, there's my contact information. I just want to make sure that that's out there. Again, if you have any questions, you've got a capability statement you want to send me, you want to schedule a meeting with me, that is my direct email address. So if we have any questions, I'm ready for those now.
Okay, so we have one question. It says, what kind of bonding is required? Question mark performance, and what is the minimum bond amount accepted?
Okay, so that depends on the contract. All right, so you're going to have to look at the contract. And DMEA, we don't have any construction requirements. So it's actually, I know more about it from BOR and just working for the SBA, but it's really contract dependent. So if you want to, get some more information, do a little bit of research, go to sam.gov and look for some of the construction contracts that are out there. Read the solicitation, and they will let you know either in the solicitation or there might be a PWS attached, performance work statement of work. Go there and it will tell you the requirements for bonding. So you can get an idea and look at the contract value. The higher the contract value, the more the bond's going to have to be, obviously. But that'll give you a general idea of what the federal government is looking for. So it's just case by case dependent on the contract.
Okay, folks, now's your opportunity to ask Kristen some questions. So pop them in the chat or the Q&A.
And again, you can always email me if you're shy, or if you wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh my gosh, I have a question. Email me.
Okay, we're not seeing any more questions. Yes, I will email Kristen's presentation to everybody that's participating in this webinar today. So with that, we thank you very much, Kristen, and hopefully some of our clients will be doing some work with DMEA.
Great, thank you.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.